Hi, I'm Craig. That's my brother Brad. Welcome to Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
Life is hard, but you can't give up. Let's have a conversation. Weekdays, we're gonna make it today. Weekdays with Craig and Brad.
That's
Woo!
good. I'll tell you what, man. Episode 102. The music comes on and you just feel happy. You just feel like you gotta have a great day.
That's right. I'm
good.
proud of that. It's good. We made it, Craig.
We sure did. I'm glad everybody's here today. Welcome on out. It's so good you made it here for Weekdays with Craig and Brad on Sundays.
Yeah.
Here on youtube.com/stutteringcraig and twitch.tv/stutteringcraig.
Doing things a little different than we did last season. Just one day a week right now.
That's
with
right.
the goal of getting back to where we were before. So if you're enjoying the show, become a patron, help out the show, all that good stuff. You want to mention any of that? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we can get close to that $1,250 goal. Then we'll bring it back 2 times a week. We'll do it in the evenings. We got a lot going on, man. Lots going on. This week is So go to patreon.com/Craig Skits for now. It'll probably change over the Patreon link in time, but that's it right now. You can support the show there. It's a bunch of great places to do, and you can become one of the incredible Patreon producers, like these fine folks down here.
Yeah.
That you look at them go. Just look at them fly by.
Yeah.
We're so glad everybody's with us this week. It's fun to get back on the horse and ride it now once a week. We have so much going on in our personal lives and our professional lives. It's just great. It's just so great. And here's a few more for you, including Toast to Mac, Chris Bryan, Scary Guy. I believe there's actually a few more I need to add, including Iceman, who became a producer. So Iceman, I'm going to need you added to that for next week. So thank you very much. And also Jedi Master Shark as well. Jedi.
Wow.
I want to let you know that. Before we get into this thing, I want to let you know Zim came in. My man Zim came in with the $100 super
Zim.
chat. Zim,
Come on.
saying,
Just
just wanted to stop by and say hi from the bus on my way to the airport. So happy to see you guys back. Hopefully I'll have time to catch a show soon when settled in. Hope you guys and all the legends are doing great. Miss spending time with y'all, Zim. Truer words that have never been spoken, buddy. We miss you.
Yeah, we miss you too. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Zim. That's fantastic. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Craig, on this day,
Yes.
May 2nd, 1992, would you like to know the #1 song in America?
1992, the #1 song in America, May 2nd.
Yeah. You got any guesses?
Yes, I do. I'm going to go with Janet Jackson.
Ooh.
Straight up.
Straight up.
Straight up. Now tell me what you
Oh, you're a decade off, my friend.
Was that 1980 something?
Oh yeah. No, you straight up is not even Janet Jackson.
Who is that?
You're thinking of Paula Abdul.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paula Abdul. That's right, Paula Abdul.
And I'm thinking Paula Abdul's, maybe that's 1991 or 92. The correct answer is crisscross make you wanna jump. Crisscross make you wanna wear your pants backwards and all of your clothes backwards. Remember when that was a thing?
Listen, I got to be honest. That was that's an all-timer. I mean, it really is. It's an all-timer. You want to get a crowd pumped up?
Yeah.
Jump. Mac Daddy make you jump. You get this thing going on. Where you put your hand on your chest and you put your hand up, whatever the hell that is. Right. I don't know.
That's right.
You get your overalls on backwards, man.
You got to wear all your clothes backwards. Imagine if that trend had just took hold and that's what we were doing now. That would have been more close to something out of Back to the Future too. I think in the future, everybody wears their clothes backwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny. I have a one of them died.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, Chris Mac Daddy Kelly.
Oh, it's just Cross
died.
now.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, sad note. Hey, for those of you mentioning
actually, I'm sorry, hold on.
No
Sorry
way.
to interrupt this. He died actually 8 years ago in one day.
Oh.
So this is technically his anniversary.
In memoriam. Yeah. Wow. How ironic for
Ooh,
me to
wow.
bring that up. I could have gone with any other year. I was going up the year line and I was like, oh yeah, crisscross jumped up. Well, you know what? Chris of Crisscross, you're missed and we still love your music. And is that yeah, that's something what to do. They
Praise
throw
the
it
devil.
up there. They throw it up there.
Kisses to heaven, crisscross. Chris.
Yeah, sure.
Chris.
It's
That's
getting
right.
creepy now, but for
Huh?
sure. It's just like Chris of Crisscross. I don't know. Okay, well, yeah.
You gotta lick your hand.
Oh, jeez.
There you go,
You
Chris.
just throw it up there
Have
with
it
the big
all,
old lick.
buddy.
Wow. All right.
I get some more of that.
So for those of you mentioning my background, talking about my background, I'm in Galveston right now. That's why my
Galveston.
background looks different. I came down here for an event
Mm.
and then threw in a little bit of a vacation while I'm here. So I got the beach right behind me. And
Wow.
look, I'm out here living the life.
Way to go. Way to live the life.
I'm living the life.
You
No
know who else is-
permissions.
You know who else is living the life today?
Who's that?
An average guy. I'm sorry, an actual guy. An actual guy. Why? Because they are. The YouTube comment of the day. An actual guy may be an average guy. I'm not quite sure. But I'll tell you this much. I want to show you this. But before I show you this to you, I want to preface that last week we spoke about Stevie Wonder. And we wondered if Stevie Wonder was actually blind.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You recall this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good one. Well,
Uh-huh. We got an answer?
an actual guy came in with this. So, true ass story here. I once had the absolute insane fortune of sitting next to Stevie Wonder at a Portland Trailblazers game. First off, so many questions. He had an entourage with him, so maybe there were the ones that wanted to go, and he just went along. Which once again, he's blind. Why would he be watching a basketball game? But he seemed really into the game. And they put him up on the jumbotron thingy, and I swear he looked up at it for a second. I don't know. You guys be the judge. Maybe he just likes the sounds of the game. Hey, an actual guy. Love it. Thank
Yeah.
you, and that is why you are the YouTube comment of the day.
That's fantastic. If it turns out that Stevie Wonder is not actually, I wonder how many times in his life he's gone. I mean, no. Like he looked like he was like, oh no, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I'm Stevie Wonder. I'm blind. Oh,
Right.
geez. Yeah, I don't know. Uh-oh, what happened? Craig has disappeared from the show, and all of a sudden it's just me. And here I am. Well, that's weird. So anyway, we were talking about Stevie Wonder. How's everybody doing tonight? That's a really random thing. I wonder if now hold on. Is it okay? There he is. I was about to wonder if I got cut off because I'm the one
No.
who's traveling.
No,
And
it's
I'm
me.
the one with I probably have better internet here than I do at home. So I was like, this can't be right.
No. What happened was I was trying to adjust my mic settings because they're saying the audio difference is too real. So I was adjusting you. I was going to pop me up a little bit too, but then I
Oh.
just destroyed everything. So
Okay.
whatever, you know.
Yeah. It
It's
always
okay.
gets it always gets really freaky whenever I just get cut to a full screen. I'm like, I don't know what to do. All right.
You're like Garth.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm having a good time.
Well, I'll tell you what. Hey, give it up for an actual guy who came in with that
Yeah.
great story. Thank you very much for your contributions, and I hope that we get some great stories from people tonight, just
Yeah.
like we did from an actual guy, because there's
That-
a lot to talk
yeah.
about tonight.
Let's make whenever we do the algorithm and we ask people to do the comments for the YouTube video, let's make the question be tell us a celebrity story. If you've met a celebrity,
Oh, sure.
then leave it in the comments. I think
Okay.
that'd be a good one.
Wonderful. I love everything about that.
Okay.
So look, we're going to have a really, really good conversation tonight. We have a couple things lined up for on tonight's show. Number one, we're going to be talking about safe spaces. I don't know if we'll get into that conversation a little bit, but we will have a call-in show tonight. But we ask you only to call in if you've ever been to a safe space. Now, generally, that is the topic for tonight's show that we will be accepting call-ins for. Patrons obviously get the first dibs. The link will be out there in just a little bit for you guys when we get to that topic. So we're going to be talking about safe spaces because that was a big conversation point this week for a lot of folks. It's pretty fascinating stuff. In addition to that, earlier this week, I had an opportunity to speak with one of the co-founders of the platform that we use to record this podcast called StreamYard. StreamYard is I love this platform. It's really, really great. It's very easy to use. And these are two, it's founded by two young guys, and they ended up selling it for $250 million about 2 or 3 months ago.
Wow.
And I tell you that only because the person that I speak to was one of the founders of it, and I wanted to talk about the startup of StreamYard and how he got to the point of going from literally having nothing and not knowing anything about coding and from a computer standpoint to selling a company for $250 million.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with the interview is that it got cut short because the night we were recording this interview earlier this week, we had severe weather come through and actually had tornadoes again. So it's actually the second time in Weekdays with Craig and Brad's history that a show or segment has been broken short because of a tornado in Texas. So let's go.
Wow. I'm starting to think that that YouTube hasn't been able to cancel us, so the government is sending weather to your house.
Right.
To shut us down.
Hey,
but it hasn't even happened.
It hasn't yet.
Can't even shut us down with freaking tornadoes.
But yeah, I'm very excited about tonight's show. Very excited. You know what else I'm very excited about? I'll tell you, man, this has been outstanding. This past week on Twitch, I started playing through the entire NES library, the entire Nintendo Entertainment System library. I'm only in the B's right now, Brad. I've been playing for 5 days. And I'm playing for each game for about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, right? And I'm having so much fun doing it. On top of that, guess what? I'm going to have guests on the show. Coming up this Thursday, we're going to do a special stream in the afternoon. Nathan Barnett, Keith Apicary will be joining me to help review games.
That's fantastic. What a great guy.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing that
Extremely
around
talented.
4:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday. So it's going to be a special. I'll be talking about it this week. Also, I want to let everybody know, Monday, I will not be having a stream because I have to go to the doctor. Yes, right during the stream time. It happens sometimes.
Stream from the doctor.
Well, I can't exactly play Nintendo games from the doctor.
Nobody's asking you to. Just stream from the doctor.
And for what I'm going to the doctor for, you do not need to be streamed for that.
That means it does need to be streamed.
Right.
That means high turnaround on the views for the internet web.
You know it. So we'll be doing that, but the rest of the week will be really fun. So we'll have a makeup stream on Thursday with Nathan Barnett, who will be helping to review games as well. I've reached out to a couple friends as well, and I think they're going to pop in and help review games as well some other time. So
cool.
Let's see. On top of that, Brad, your new song is blowing up right now.
Oh, it's doing all right.
Gaining traction.
I released a single last 2 weeks ago called Jesus What Happened to Us, and it's getting out there. I've had some people help retweet it and get it out there. Can't do it without you. If you guys have seen the video, if you've been retweeting it, thanks so much for doing that. I can't do it without you. I don't have any promo people helping me get my music out there or anything like that. But I've gotten a lot of good feedback from it. As you can see, I've only offended 21 people with this song, and 1.3 thousand thumbs up. Pretty good odds there. So we're on our way to 30,000 views, and check it out. And hope you like it. It's a little bit of a modern day kind of protest song or something. I don't know. That's what they say.
As a little Bob Dylan-ish for sure. Definitely Bob Dylan inspired.
Definitely Bob Dylan.
All right. You wanted to talk about something before we get into. We did talk about our Patreon goals. Obviously, if we get to $1,250 a month for Patreon, we'll do this show twice a week. So I want to let you know that we're about $900 right now. So if anybody wants to be a Patreon, go to patreon.com/CraigSkits. And you can support the show. There's any dollar amount. You can go in and put whatever you want. But we do have different tiers for different things. So if anybody wants to do that, we would greatly appreciate it. Last week, we had 6 new patrons from the show. So let's continue to drive that forward and continue to grow. And hopefully we can bring this show back to making it a semi or doubly weekly.
We've got to do one show during the week. The show is called Weekdays. Yeah, let's get that Wednesday show back. I think that was the first goal, right? Wednesday. We had Wednesday on when we get to 12:50 or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, Wednesday.
Then you'll get Sunday and Wednesday with Craig and Brad, and it'll be great. And then we'll work towards the next day, and then the next day, and then we'll all be hanging out together all week again,
all day, every day.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wanted to talk about something. You tweeted about this a little bit ago, and I found this fascinating. So I thought we'd just do a quick talk on this.
Yeah. You're talking about Comedy Central? Yeah. So we're on vacation down here. I've got my family hanging out, and Back to the Future has been on Comedy Central all weekend since yesterday. And my kids love that movie. I love that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. Not just Back to the Future, but the whole trilogy. They're doing a big, long marathon, and it was on yesterday. My kids were watching it. We went out. We had a great day. It was on again. Back to the Future 3 comes on, okay? And it's at the part where Marty comes out and he's getting ready to go back to 1885, and they're at that drive-in movie theater in 1955, and they've got that painting of Indians that he drives into, right? And then he blasts through, and he goes through the painting of Indians, and then there happens to be Indians on the other side. So Comedy Central edited out the word Indians every single time they said it.
I was going to say, Brad, you understand you're using the word Indians right now.
Apparently I'm being very, very offensive right now by using the word Indians. So my son came in and he notified this. He's 9. He goes, Dad, because he just watched all these movies like last week before we came down here. And so he's in a big Back to the Future mood. He knows the movie already. And he came in and he's like, they took out Indians from the show. And I was like, what? And so when he goes, I'm gonna crash right on into those, and then he goes, he didn't say Indians. They took it out like a bleep, like a curse word or something, but all the while leaving in all the curse words from the movie. So that's where we're at. It threw me off a little bit. There's the part where he goes into the bar for the first time and he meets Mad Dog Tannen. Right. And then the guys are like, what kind of moccasins you got on there? What's that say there? Nikkei? What is that? Indian talk? Yeah, and they muted that. And I could see them deciding to mute Indian because maybe there's a little bit of racial connotation there that you don't want to step on anybody's toes. But the word Indian, like what else? Are they supposed to mouth over Native Americans or something like that? That's supposed to be more appropriate. I don't know. I didn't know that the word Indian was actually offensive. I haven't been staying up with what's offensive and what's not offensive. But Comedy Central, of all the places for comedy, and we're going to talk about comedy here in a little bit with Safe Spaces, but the channel that airs South Park has decided you can't say Indians. So that's where we're at. I don't know.
My boy Danny Hall comes in and says, as an actual member of a Native American tribe, the term Indian is fine.
Okay.
Well, you say that, Danny. But Danny, somebody out there is pissed.
You know who can't say it? Marty McFly. If you could send a note to Comedy Central, just maybe tweet at him, be like, hey, cut it out. It's fine. It just interrupts the movie. It's just, you're like, all of it's like, pretty soon it's going to be like that scene in Wayne's World where they're ordering at the drive-in. He's like, I'd like to have it, Ellie, on it. And that's what movies are going to be like, where like every word is bleeped because it's too offensive. It's just ridiculous. So
Paul Guns says, so they censored the bad guy from being offensive. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah, awesome. So there you have it. It's just a little side note. I thought that was funny. It just happened like an hour ago, and I was like, what are we doing?
Interesting. What is this? Danny says the National Organization by Native American Tribes is called the NCAI, National Congress of American Indians.
Well, it's just going to have to be National Congress of American.
Well, let me just
according to Comedy Central.
Let me just tell you this. Some 22-year-old white girl is going to be really offended for you and make you change that. Okay,
that's probably true. That is probably true. I've seen a lot of those people, on Twitter this last week.
Awesome.
Okay.
And as Jake says, Jake the Sam Squash says, yes, as a former First Nation status Indian up in Canada, long story, there's a lawsuit going on. The word Indian is fine. Fine to me. Listen,
Well, thank you for clearing
guys
that up.
are fine, but once again,
Yeah.
I am positive, guys.
Yeah.
Danny, Jake, there is got to be some 21-year-old girl in college that is just extremely upset on behalf of you, and you don't even understand the thumb that is on you right now, that she's going to explain to you
Yeah.
your plight.
She's an intern at Comedy Central, and she's like, I really don't think we need to use that word in this movie. Do you know how offensive it is? And then you guys are like, it's not. And she's like, no, it is. We got to mute it. And, whatever.
My man, J. Rome,
It's
good to see you.
obnoxious.
Hey, Aiden came in with $1. Says, I wanted to say to you both, I've decided to become a nurse alongside my brother and take online classes, but I'm going to take an entrance exam before going to school. But I have to take it every day from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. So I won't be around here much, sadly. Well, Aiden, that's okay, man. You be here when you can. Like I said, we won't be streaming here every evening. It's only on Sundays right now, unless the Patreon goes up. But you'll be able to see me in the morning, though, which is great, over at twitch.tv/StutterandCraig. So, Aiden, congratulations, and go get it, man. Go get it. That's great.
Go get it. Catch us on the reruns.
Yes. Okay, well, let's get into this thing. We've had a wonderful, wonderful start to the show. We're going to spend the next 15 minutes or so watching this interview I did with Gage. And once again, Gage, I encourage everybody to watch this. I don't like to talk to people about their success unless there's some sort of inspiration behind it. And I feel like I asked Gage I feel like I did. I don't know. I feel like I asked him some good questions. Once again, Gage is the founder of StreamYard. StreamYard is the platform we use. Gage is 27 years old, okay? 27 years old, late 20s. He started this in his mid-20s, and he sold it just a few months ago for $250 million, okay? That's stupid money, okay? Now, with that said, he took the time to talk about this. And the most fascinating thing about our conversation about StreamYard is that they didn't take a single cent of investment. They didn't have any angel funders. It was all what's called bootstrapping. I encourage you guys to just listen. Listen to the next 16 minutes and 30 seconds or so. And just enjoy the conversation. It's a lot. It's a lot. So, by all means, let me pull this up.
I haven't seen this, so I'm excited to hear about it. I'm familiar with bootstrapping. I know you are too. For anybody who's not familiar with that's just doing the legwork, man. It's doing it all yourself, doing every single thing yourself.
It is, and we'll talk on that. We'll talk about that. And you want to know who their first employee was?
I don't know.
You'll find out in just a few minutes because you're going to love it.
Okay.
Joining me now is Gage. Gage, one of the founders of the platform that we're on. It's StreamYard. Hi, Gage. How are you?
Hey, Craig. I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
This is awesome. So I'm really looking forward to talking to you tonight because I'm an entrepreneur. You are obviously an entrepreneur. You are much younger than I in a young man's game. So it's very, very cool to hear your story about this platform. This is really, it's funny. The first time I heard about StreamYard was actually when I was interviewed by somebody else, and they're like, well, you got to check out this platform. And it was all word of mouth, which is pretty amazing. And the story of StreamYard is, it seems like it's, you guys bootstrapped it. Oh, you tell me the story of StreamYard. I feel like I've done a bunch of research, but it's always good to hear from the man himself. So go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. And yeah, I'm super excited that I thought it was super cool that you guys actually use the platform for your own show. But yeah, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard. We've known each other for a really long time. We met in our university's engineering program. Neither of us were actually software engineers. I was electrical engineering. He was mechanical engineering. But we just loved building stuff together, and slowly got more and more interested in entrepreneurship as school went on. And software was sort of something we naturally started to gravitate towards, just because of how quickly you could spin something up and put it in front of something, or not in front of something, in front of someone, and put it in front of an actual customer versus, a mechanical engineering project that would take, many years and much more money. But with software and all the advances that have made with the cloud and whatnot, you can make really compelling stuff with, just two people working together. And as far as why we started StreamYard, we were always super interested by the platform Twitch, which you probably are familiar with.
Oh,
Not from the gaming perspective. Like, we like video games, but it's been a while since either of us had played video games. But from the business perspective, like Twitch was one of the few platforms, few live streaming platforms that really got it right and found their stride. I don't know how familiar you are with live stream, but there's been tons that have come and gone.
So just a quick backstory here. I've been doing this internet thing since 2006.
Yeah.
I was streaming in 2008 through a VCR onto Justin.tv prior to Twitch. So I'm very familiar with Twitch, the people who started it, Emmett and all those guys. And so I am extremely familiar. But yes, it is a true technological wonder to behold what Twitch has pulled off.
Yeah, they are awesome. Justin Kahn is awesome. He's on TikTok now, and he makes all kinds of like super useful content. So people should check out his TikTok and his YouTube. But yeah, we were fascinated by Twitch because so many different live streaming platforms had come and failed, and it took them a long time to get it right. Like you mentioned, they were Justin TV, and it took them a while to iterate there. But when they did hit their stride with gaming, we thought it was interesting how they found success, and we thought a big part of it was demographics. So gamers are sort of this interesting type of person where they're pretty tech savvy. They play complex video games, so they can set up their tech, and then they have the added benefit, maybe the more important benefit, of being able to sort of offload the entertainment to the game they're playing, like something like a Meerkat or a Periscope. You have to be always on, always entertaining,
Sure.
right in front of the phone. But with Twitch, you could sort of play the game. Your audience could sort of be distracted by that sometimes, and you could do your live stream. And Twitch was amazing for that community. Like it was a catalyst for all kinds of growth in the gaming industry. And we figured if we made something that was super, super easy, so people that didn't have that technical background, but still had awesome content to share, like maybe they're just interested in fishing or race cars, but not computers at all. Maybe that same effect Twitch had on gaming, we could be a catalyst for people creating content that weren't into tech. And instead of the game being the way to sort of make it easier to be entertaining and get your footwork, guesting. We decided to focus on guesting, make it super easy to bring in guests, share presentations, add pictures on screen and things like that. So stuff to not always have to be just you entertaining in front of the camera. Features to make it easy.
Well,
And that
so
was
I mean, you guys found the niche for sure with podcasting, guesting as you call it, and that's amazing. It's the idea of being able to that's always been the struggle really when it comes to whether it's Zoom or it's so hard to do. Whereas with StreamYard, you just give them a link and it's like, okay, I'm ready to go. And it's beyond easy. Talk about you said you weren't extremely technical, right? But you made this platform that is easy to use, but there's a lot of tech behind it. So were you coding? Was Dan coding? How did this provide me some description here as to how this came to be?
Yeah, so it's for people listening too. I mean, I think it's a cool testament to how much you can do without formal back. We had some, right? Like you learn like in electrical and mechanical, you still do some programming and stuff like that, but it's very different than web development and live streaming. But we just learned throughout school, right? Like just literally Googling and figuring out how to program, and that's how we learned the basics. And I don't think it would be possible to do, at least not in the same time frame, like what we did with StreamYard, 10 years ago. Like there's so many different technologies that it's ridiculous how quickly you can, like the cloud platforms are phenomenal. Like it's so amazing. Like it really levels the playing field as far as like, you don't have to build a data center to be able to actually, deliver a product that millions of people can use. Anyone can do it if they put in the time and research to understand, how to actually build a scalable product and utilize that the cloud infrastructure that's out there. So yeah, it was just, we sucked for a long time until we didn't suck. That's sort of how we did it.
Well, what's interesting about what you guys have done is, there's a lot of hot tech startups. It's like, oh, we're gonna go out and get this funding, and we're gonna, whatever. Yeah. You guys, the term bootstrap is something that a lot of people don't know. We have just a little background. My saying is that if you got a goal, you go get it. I am that. My live streams, my shows, that is, if you got a goal, go get it. Whatever it is, just go get it. It could be winning, being the best coach for the girls' soccer team, or selling a business, whatever. But you guys bootstrapped, and that means you didn't take any money. You went in and you did this all yourself, that's amazing. That is very hard to do. And we'll talk about the exit here in a little bit, the acquisition, all that stuff. But more importantly, like, what were some of the struggles when you're starting with zero cash, you're doing it all yourself, and you're working on a platform that it's expensive to stream video. And that's very hard to do. So talk about some of the hurdles that came along with that, doing it without taking any money or investment.
For sure. There's definitely hurdles, but there's a lot of benefits too. So I think taking funding is an interesting sort of question for people because it sort of limits the scope of what is considered a success. Like if you take $10 million at a $100 million valuation, suddenly you have to hit that, right? You can't have a company that's only making, say $50,000 a year if you take that investor money and say, I'm going to build a company that's this big. So when you can sort of when you're bootstrapped, you sort of have more time to, maybe not more time, but there's a bigger range of possibilities of what could be a success, So like theoretically, we could have made a business that was, only doing, only is still a lot of money, only doing like 50 to 100,000 a year, and that's still successful. Whereas if we had taken investment money, suddenly that's, you're gonna have to shut down the business. Like people aren't happy if that's all you're doing when you're going after this, huge valuation. So although there's some struggles, there's also advantages where and you can also be way more focused too. You're not having to please investors and your customer, right? And not having to worry about raising your next round. So by being profitable from day one and being super focused on the business and it sort of simplified things. Like honestly, I don't have anything negative to say about being bootstrapped. It actually, we'd sort of seen the other side of that, and it allows you to be so much more focused and customer driven because that's all that matters is make your customers happy. And as long as you have a business model that's functional, and it's also almost impossible to be bootstrapped and screw that up. Whereas if you take a bunch of investment money, you can find out in 2 years they're like, oh, this is not an actual business. Right. Somehow happens. So it just sort of forces you to be much more focused. But there weren't ever huge struggles directly related to bootstrapping. We always loved it. There's full control too, right? No one is pestering you as far as like, oh, you need to go this route or do this because you only answer to yourself, which we were a big fan of.
So real quick, if you guys just popping in, welcome. It's good to see you guys. That is me over there. I'm interviewing this guy named Gage. Gage is one of the co-founders of the platform we use to produce our podcast. It's called StreamYard. I'll talk about this here in a little bit. Maybe I already did, but I was introduced to this platform by being on somebody else's podcast, and they were like, "Hey, you should check this out as well." So that's how I was introduced to it as well. But I just wanted to share this interview with you guys. It's only about 15 minutes long. Get about halfway through right now, and I'm probably lagging through. Whatever, it's okay. But I just found this incredibly inspirational, and just the story of this guy. These two guys starting with just an idea, and I encourage you guys to listen to it, be inspired by it, and go get it. Brad, what are your thoughts so far?
It's great. I'm excited. I mean, you got to hustle when you're doing this stuff and be willing to work at it. So it's good. It's good stuff to hear, especially when on the other side of it, there's huge success.
Well, you're going to get to the true hustle here in just a second. Let's continue. Well, you said something that kind of caught my ear. You said, profitable since day one. Talk about, obviously when you're probably paying yourself nothing and any money you come in, it makes you profitable immediately, as somebody who's started companies before, with, same exact situation. But talk about how you got StreamYard out there, just the initial push, the marketing behind it. Did you guys do any marketing? Was it all word of mouth? You start with 0 people using it. How did you get from 0 to 1 to 10, 10 to 50?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an important question.
Pretty important.
Yeah. On the bootstrap side too, I guess I would quickly say that although for bootstrapping for us was awesome, there's certain areas where it's just not possible, right? Like if you're making a software company, it's a possible route. But if you're going to compete with SpaceX or something, sometimes you just have to raise money. So I'm not ripping on that or anything. It's just for us, it was a good strategy. But yeah, as far as getting our first customer, it was slow going at the beginning. It was just lots of cold emails and really taking the time to, like, before we built anything, like that was one thing we had screwed up with other products we had tried to make before. You spend a bunch of time building something, realize no one really wants that product. So before we started really diving deep on the technical side of StreamYard, we investigated everything else that was out there. Like we looked at OBS and the communities around OBS and all these different softwares, joined these forums, joined these communities, and genuinely engaged and became part of those communities to really understand these people and have those conversations. And that made it suddenly, and when you do that, you're going to make connections with people that have a problem. So we already had found a decent group of people that had a pain point of like, it's too hard to live stream, it's too difficult. And that's sort of what was our genesis of just having a few people starting to use the product. We also had a landing page up. It didn't generate very many signups, but we just had like before the product was ready, just an email list as we were sort of doing that research and talking to people for people that were interested in it. So when we launched, I think we probably had 40 or 50 people just checking it out and using the product. And then, like you said, we had the added advantage that pretty viral product as far as, you're doing interviews, people see that they're using StreamYard when they get interviewed on it and then try it out themselves. So that helped a lot. We also, from the very beginning, we're just super focused on our community. Like, I don't know if you know this, but Dan and I have done a live stream from the very, very beginning. Like about a month since we started, we've done a weekly town hall live stream. And when we first did that, there was like 2 people watching us. We're still pretty small. I think now we get like 150 to 200 people watching every week, but it's still a really good way to keep that close connection. So people respect that. I think if you show up for them every week and they can tell, they truly want to solve a problem and deliver something that is needed. And so that also helped our word of mouth a lot, was just showing up for them. And it helped us too, to know how to iterate on the product, what their pain points were, and just truly understand the space. So long-winded way of answering your question. It was mostly word of mouth, and then just one-on-one, not really scalable, talking to people, getting them using the product.
Right. And like you said, there's virality to StreamYard, which is great, which is really cool. And I like how you obviously went in and were engaging with, customers that weren't customers yet, but you knew they could potentially be customers down the line. Talk about, when you started making a little bit of money, were you like, at what point were you, well, first off, how big is your team? How big was your team? Is your team you and Dan? And at a certain point, it's got to be a little more, because you need to hire people for customer service and all this stuff. So at what point, how long into StreamYard launching did it take you to realize that, okay, we need to get more people in here?
Yeah, we put it off for too long. I would have hired sooner. I think it's kind of crazy how long we put it off for. But today we have 30 people on the team, which is pretty exciting. We have a big engineering team now, and success and support and all of those awesome things. But yeah, for over the first year, it was just Dan and I. We did all the programming, we did all the customer support, we did all the marketing, and I wouldn't do it for as long as we did it, just because it hinders growth. You should make the investment a bit earlier than we did. Like I think we were several million in ARR before we hired anyone. Crazy. Part of it too was just it's a huge risk when you hire people, I think, too. Like, sure. It's when you're only working with one person you've known for 10 plus years, there's the culture is pretty simple, right? Like, culture is not a big issue when you're working with one person. But as soon as you add more people in the mix, things can go off the rails pretty quickly if you don't do it correctly. So our philosophy for a long time is, we can pull it off with just us two. It's another variable to the mix. Let's put it off for as long as possible. But it was right before COVID hit, when things had started to pick up enough that it was like, this is not manageable. Like, when we're barely sleeping, I'm doing customer support more than I'm coding. This is not scalable. So, and believe it or not, the first person we actually hired was my mom on customer support.
Yeah, dude, that's what I love it. I love everything about that. I love everything about what you're saying right now. This is outstanding. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Wow, what a great story. And your mom is employee number 3, which is so great. Oh man.
She still works here, still customer support.
Did she have stock? Did she have stock in the company? Come on, baby, tell me.
She has some stock in the company now hopping. But yeah, we hired her a bit after the first year. I think it was near Christmas, and then quickly hired more folks. And Dan's mom was our bookkeeper for a very long time as well.
Man, how outstanding. Well, because you guys are young. You're only what, 22, 23?
No, we're a bit older than we look. So I'm 27.
Oh, well, you're still a kid. Yeah, you're a baby, right? Which is, to have such a massive success so early on, that, like, congratulations to you. That's so great. So let's talk about it. You said you're generating a couple $1 million of annual yearly revenue, like, before you hired somebody. That is, number one, insane, and number two, where you're like, what are we, like, at a certain point where you're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy, like how well we're doing.
Yeah, it wasn't. That's one thing we should have made more time for, was just sort of celebrating the wins and whatnot, because we're so focused on the heat of it. We didn't spend too much time to sort of take a step back and be like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. I think the most exciting part was, I haven't had the same feeling like you always hit the milestones of like, 1 million in ARR is a pretty big milestone, but the biggest one was not actually like 1 or 10 or even 20. It was the first time we did the first campaign we did like, I think it was a few months after we launched, we did a marketing campaign where we were first launching some of our new plans, like we had always had paid plans, but we were adding annual plans for the first time. and we really did a focused marketing push to try to get people to upgrade. And we didn't generate much. I think we did like $10,000 in sales in a week, but that was the first time we sort of had the realization of like, we can do this forever. We love doing this, and this can be, we can do it. That was the most exciting part for us, even or for me, and I think Dan too. Like, more exciting than 1 million, 10 million was just the realization that like, this is doable. You know, we can do this for the rest of our lives, and we never have to go back to a 9-to-5 type situation.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Well, Gage, I have so many more questions for you, but this is kind of crazy. We actually have tornado sirens going on outside right now.
Oh my gosh!
Can you hear them?
I can't hear them.
Okay, they're actually going. I'm in Dallas, so they're going off right now. We did it. We did survive. It was great.
They're never gonna stop us.
It's good.
Well, that's fantastic and super interesting. I admire the story. I mean, I'm super accustomed to bootstrapping myself and doing as much as you possibly can. I relate to that story in the sense of, when I started the Juicebox Jukebox, my kids' music project a few years ago, I didn't know anything about animating videos. I started teaching myself every step of the way. Going all the way back to the beginning of my music career, it was, well, I don't know how to do that. Can I figure out how to do it? Build a website, graphic design, make my own CDs, So I completely connect with that story. And also having mom be, your number one fan, having pulling in family next in line, going like, because that's the natural organic growth of things. Like, you do things, whether you start a business with a buddy of yours, a friend or family, the next employee in line is typically going to be another friend or family, because you need somebody that you can trust, that you have an organic chemistry with. And it's a pretty cool story. Now, I have not sold anything for $250 million. So I have not reached that pinnacle of success yet.
I think there's a lot of people who would look at that situation and, when they release this press release, they're like, oh, Hoppins bought StreamYard for, $250 million, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who look at that and they would be very jealous of that. And mm-hmm. If you have any sort of entrepreneurial spirit, you don't get jealous of that stuff. You look at that stuff and you be inspired by it. And you say, wow. These guys, they hired their mom. They had a couple million in annual revenue before they made their first hire, which was his mom. The idea of, our first 10 million, if you're making $100,000 a year with your small business, that's insane. The likelihood of any small business succeeding, let alone one online. That, by the way, you don't start coding at all. You've never coded ever prior to starting this business, and you have these two guys that are just grinding and making it out. I think that's so great. Good for them. And the only feedback I would have on StreamYard is we had to watch that like we did, where we were sitting over here and I had to look. We're on this side of the screen. I wish you could upload larger files to their servers, but
let them know about it.
But I would love to have Gage on to continue the conversation. If you guys would like to see more of Gage on Weekdays with Craig and Brad, to finish up the conversation, because there's so much more I didn't get a chance to ask him about. Please tweet at StreamYard and let them know that it's probably Gage running their social media for all I know.
Or one of their moms or dads at this point, and we'll see. Yeah, cool story.
Yes. Okay. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of tonight's show. We're only 43 minutes in. I'm sorry. The meat and zucchinis.
There you go. There we go.
So let's talk about this. By the way, Gage, thank you very much for coming on the show. Really cool. Appreciate that. Okay. Really cool. So we had something that was fascinating. I speaking of success. Let's talk about Elon Musk. Okay?
He's successful.
Musk, very successful. He made his money on PayPal. Then he went in and he started all sorts of stuff, Tesla and SpaceX. And this is a serial entrepreneur, I mean, some people think he's an alien. He may be. He could be. He might very much may be an alien. Who knows?
Never met him. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But he's become so popular that he's been invited on to Saturday Night Live to be a host,
Yeah.
which is very, very exciting.
Not even an
To-
actor or a comedian. He's gonna
Well,
he's just a dude.
He's a very wealthy dude, like third
Yeah.
wealthiest in the world. I heard he was the wealthiest. So,
Mhm.
but who knows? He's pretty damn wealthy. But some people are excited about that. Some people are not.
Some people are not. And you know what? They happen to be on the show that he's hosting.
So here it is. Let's check out the story.
Yeah.
SNL will provide its cast with an actual safe space away from guest host Elon Musk. An amazing thing. Several cast members from the ABC sketch series Saturday Night Live have a real problem with Tesla CEO and SpaceX founder Elon Musk appearing on an upcoming episode and may be reserving the right to step down from participating in the show. I don't know who these people are. 80 Bryant, Bowen Yang, and writer Aaron Dismukes have expressed apathy towards Musk appearing in an episode of a long-running comedy series. And apparently the show will not force its cast to do, quote, anything they don't want to do. So,
Oh, wow. What a job. What a nice job that is. You're on a comedy sketch show.
Yes.
And you're uncomfortable. If you need a safe space for comedy, you probably shouldn't be a comedian. Let's just put that out there first of all.
Listen, comedy has become very tame in the last few years, and that's the thing they're saying right now. Comedians are their big target has been removed. He's no longer in office anymore, and now the idea of going against the grain is scary to a lot of they don't want to make fun.
Gosh.
But
yeah, there's nothing to make fun of. I mean, when Comedy Central is moving the word Indians from Back to the Future 3.
Right.
It's a scary world out there. I don't know much, I don't know what is deemed funny at all. I don't really watch Saturday Night Live anymore. I don't even really know those cast members or the writers.
No.
It hasn't spoke to me. It's probably not trying to speak to me. So I don't really pay attention much to it. But I found that article supremely interesting because I'm like, first of all, it's a comedy sketch show. Who's going to parody Saturday Night Live for this moment? Right? Like you and I can start our own show, Sunday Night Live, and we'll just parody Saturday Night Live for being so ridiculously weak.
Now, so the reason why I wanted to talk about this tonight is because the idea of safe spaces. Okay. We are actually offering everybody an opportunity to call in tonight. Our patrons have an opportunity to call in first. And then we'll open up the link to everybody in the chat. But we only want to hear your opinion. We only want to hear from you tonight if you've actually been to a safe space. We don't care what you think about them. I just, I know, Brad, we just want to learn more about them, why they exist, and what your personal experience is. We may not have anybody calling tonight. That's totally fine. But I only want people who are here who are going to call in tonight, who have been to a safe space. Okay, that is part of it. And once again, if you have not been to a safe space, you're not allowed to call in. Okay, you're not allowed to call in. Okay?
This will quickly become not a safe space for you if you call in tonight.
I'm going to boot your ass
and you
to
don't
your
focus.
safe space. That's right. So listen, I promise you that. So if you call in, you're like, I haven't been to a safe space, or you're making up some sort of fake story, I'll boot your ass out. It's nothing to be ashamed of. But okay.
No, we're curious because we didn't grow up with it. We didn't grow up with safe spaces. Now, back to this story. Can we just appreciate the moment of this? Like, imagine having a job, any job, not just a comedy sketch show, where you're like, "Excuse me, boss, about what you wanted me to do. It kind of makes me uncomfortable." And he's like, "You mean your job that you're hired to do?"
Okay.
Like, yeah.
I think there's instances where you can do those things, where you can say, "Look, this makes me uncomfortable." I think that's totally fine to say that.
Of course.
But specifically in the realm of comedy, that and Saturday Night Live, I don't think it's one thing if you have somebody who's coming in and if they're very controversial in the fact that let's just say they are they have a hot opinion about God, right?
Mhm.
And maybe you religiously don't agree with them, right?
Mhm.
But what has Elon Musk really done to really piss people off? You know, like
Well, he's rich.
right. He's rich, and that's it.
He's rich and successful, and I think the cast member Adie Bryant had a problem with him. She's a big Bernie Sanders supporter, and Bernie Sanders said something about wealthy people. I don't even care, but I'm like, it's a comedy sketch show. Like I made a tweet about it the other day. But I was like, you don't even understand the pressure of having to do a comedy sketch show and having a host on that makes you uncomfortable. Like,
Hmm.
what kind of life are you living? Because yeah, there might be moments in your career where you're like, oh, geez, I don't know if I can do that. That's a real big challenge to me. But I don't think at any point in Saturday Night Live doing any sketch with any host, unless you had on freaking the Unabomber as a guest or somebody in those lines, where you'd be like, look, I don't really feel comfortable with us having the Unabomber on,
Right, right.
as a host. Dude, is this really a good idea?
So just a real quick side note to this story about Adie Bryant.
Mhm.
Would you like to guess Adie Bryant's annual salary from
Oh.
Saturday Night Live?
Oh, geez. She's probably struggling. I'm going to go with $30,000 a year.
Try $25,000 per episode.
Ah, wow. She's probably struggling. Yeah.
$525,000 a year.
Well, now, in fairness, she lives in New York,
Uh-huh.
and that's probably piss poor in New York. Right? Right? I don't know. We live in the great state of Texas, where things are manageable and
so-
affordable.
Okay, so Elon Musk apparently tweeted a couple. By the way, that's so fucking pathetic. God, that's so sad. Like, just get everything about that.
Okay.
I would love to see the percentage of her salary that she donates to charitable causes and or helping the homeless and or helping income equality. I would love to see that.
Right.
Good
right.
for her. Good for her. Way to go.
Yeah.
So there is talk of the cast members potentially
Mhm.
boycotting the episode
Oh, yeah.
as a whole. No,
Really?
all of the boycott.
Oh,
All of
wow.
them. Yes.
They're going to unionize into a boycott.
hmm
Yeah.
I just think it's fascinating. Fascinating the idea that they do that. But Elon Musk tweeted something to the effect of, "Let's just see how live Saturday Night Live really is, right?"
Mhm.
And it'll be interesting to see because, he's tweeted a couple things that have rubbed people the wrong way. He did the red, he tweeted out about like getting red pilled, which is thought of as kind of opening your eyes a little bit, which I learned on this show, by the way.
Yeah, you did. You did.
which is very interesting. So.
Mhm.
But yes, it's a Musk tweeted take the red pill in May 2020, a quote borrowed from the Matrix that turned into a euphemism for questioning the liberal narrative. A couple months later, a month earlier, Musk also tweeted the coronavirus panic is dumb.
How could you do that, Elon Musk? What do
So-
you know?
All right. So I'll tell you what, let's do this really fast. While
Yeah.
if anybody in our chat, mods, you can go and put the link out right there. Anybody in our chat is welcome to come on our show tonight. But once again, there's one main rule.
Mhm.
Well, there's several, okay? But the one key subject tonight is you have to have been to a safe space. You have to have been to a safe space. If you've been to a college, that's fine. I don't care about that. I want to know if you've been in a safe space. Not for a tornado or a hurricane. I'm talking about where you can
No.
talk about your feelings, okay?
One for a microaggression.
No, number two, you have to have a webcam. I don't care. You cannot come our show if you cannot talk to us face to face, eye to eye. That's the rules.
Mhm.
All right. Number three, have a mic. That's it. So
Okay.
yes. Chaos Beast, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs over on twitch.tv/stuttering Craig. Greatly appreciate that. Chaos Beast.
All right.
I missed that a little bit ago. I didn't miss it. I would have been trying to find a time to mention it, but thank you very much, Chaos Beast. And Bamcore, thank you so much for the follow. And Shadowknot, thank you so much for resubbing. That's awesome. Yes. So by all means, anybody, if you've ever been in a safe space, I think, when I look at these safe spaces, we were talking about this beforehand. You said that they originated in like 2014 and on colleges on college
They've been around a
campuses.
while. Yeah, they started coming around, I think, during the Obama era. And people were like, effing safe space. Who needs that? And
Microaggressions and stuff.
microaggressions and just therapeutics, spaces where college kids could escape things and just live in a bubble and not have to deal with. I feel like, look, when I read that today and I was like, oh, safe spaces 2015, 2016, it was like a new thing, right? Well, now those kids have graduated.
Right.
Now they're out in the world. And now I think we're kind of seeing the repercussions of safe space era college kids entering into this world because they can't handle it. They can't handle the real idea of facing confrontation.
The way I've always seen a safe space is something along the lines of this, right? When my daughter was 3 years old, 2 and 3 years old, when something bad would happen, she would run to her mom. And she would run with her arms out like this, waiting to be picked up and coddled, right? That's what I see a safe space as when something happens that you don't like, you fall down, you scrape your knee, you hear something you don't like, whatever. You get so upset that you run crying to the safe space with your hands out, hoping to be coddled, right? Because you're not comfortable with the situation and you need to escape it. And this safe space will coddle you and make sure you feel okay in your mother's bosom. Like I said, I could be totally wrong. I want to be really clear. I'm sure that there are some really positive things that come from safe spaces. I'm sure there are.
What? Quit it. No, you don't.
But I do think that there's way more harm that is good, that is done, that's good.
Yeah. No, obviously there's real situations where somebody might need to get away from a real, a-hole that's out there, somebody who's bullying them or something where they're like, look, I don't know what to do with this. This is a real, going back to Marty McFly, a real Biff Tannen situation where I need to get away from this person. They're making my life horrible. I need a space to go to avoid them until the situation gets under control. I'm sure there are situations out there, but if you're thinking like, again, let's just go with Back to the Future today because we're talking about it. If you're like, look, I need to go sit down in my safe space because that person over there said Indian today, and I started thinking about all of the terrible things that Native American people have had to go through, and they don't deserve to be put down with words like that. I need to go, if that's the situation that you're going into one of these spaces for, then I think you have problems, real problems you need to face and talk to real people about, not just go and shove yourself into a hermit corner or something.
Well, Pizza Time says it's one thing to have a group of support, for just example, survivors of sexual abuse. I completely get that. I'm with you, Pizza Time.
Yeah.
The good intentions get exploited into something more harmful in the end.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. A great example, like there are people who have been in really abusive situations that need support, that need to be in a group with people. And that's important.
Aren't those just traditionally called support groups?
Yeah. It just seemed like at the time, and maybe it's changed, maybe it hasn't, but based on what I see on number 1, TikTok, and number 2, Twitter comments, that's not what these safe spaces were used for. And now that they're out in the world, and they've got time on their hands, it seems like they're just more upset about, I don't even know, the proper pronoun or something like that, right?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of issues with things that we're worrying about today that really upset people. come based off of there's just not other things to worry about. You know, like people have been holed up for a year, you know, and they've had time to think and get worried and complain about things. So they find things to complain about, you know. For us, it's coronavirus and being holed in, you know, like that's just one of those things, you know, but other people have sat around and found other things to be upset about. So, you know, and like the pronoun thing, you know, talk about with Gina Carano and she tried to poke a joke at, with the beep boop thing. And then she ends up getting canceled because it was insensitive, you know, it's like, okay, you know.
Oh yeah. You cannot poke a joke, Craig. Hey, speaking of Gina Carano, she followed me on Twitter. What a nice surprise that was. Yeah. Wow. Pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
I just got a notification that said she followed me. I don't know if it was something special that I did. I think I retweeted one of her things and she's like 5 times ice. Whoa, I'm a huge fan.
Wow. Can you DM her now?
Yeah.
Let's get her on the show.
That would be great.
Wow, that'd be amazing to talk to Gina Carano. That'd be so fun.
She's very busy, but that would be great.
You know, we could do like maybe she can review some Nintendo games.
Come on. She seems cool. Look, I'll tell you what, based on her tweets and interviews I've seen, she's cool. She's cool.
Oh no, she's
cool
a
girl.
racist devil.
Right. She's also that.
Hey, okay, I'll tell you, let's it looks like nobody here has been in a safe space except for Spaz. Spaz is in the queue. And
all right.
Let's talk to Spaz real quick.
Sure.
Hello, Spaz.
Hey guys, nice to see you.
Good. Hey, how you doing, bud?
Good, cool. I'm using a curved screen, so it's kind of hard to see exactly where I am.
It's okay.
Curved monitor.
You're on. So have you been to a safe space before?
Kind of in real life, but mostly online. Like I'm a huge movie buff. For me, restoring classic films is important. And I was at the movies today, and I saw this trailer for an upcoming indie film about Hitler Youth kids who are like now in their 90s, and they're restoring footage, and they're talking about them growing up in Nazi Germany and about how they're adults now, and they're looking back on it. What could they have done? And I'm thinking this is a very important historical film. How is Hollywood going to butcher it to make it one-sided?
Well, okay, hold on, real quick. Several things. Number one, what does that have to do with safe spaces?
How people are obsessed with censoring things.
You lost me there. Number two, so these guys grew up in the 90s. You said
they're in their 90s. They grew up in the 40s. Right?
Got it.
Yeah. So like I saw this funny parody trailer someone made for a live action Peter Pan. You know, they say we're off to fight the Indians. Well, in the parody trailer, they say we're off to fight the indigenous. We're off to fight the indigenous.
Oh.
Like I thought I like
because that's how they spoke.
I know. Before you think
historically accurate for sure.
You think that saying we're off to fight the indigenous would be accepted now, or do you think people would be complaining that it's too PC, or do you think people would be okay with it? I mean, like, what do you think about that? We're off to fight the indigenous. Like, if the Lost Boys and the Peter Pan said we're off to fight the indigenous instead of we're off to fight the Indians, what would you say to that?
Once again, I think that the people who would get most upset about it are the people who are in college right now between the ages of 18 and 23, predominantly white females with blonde hair, or you know that just have nothing to do.
Who won't go see the movie anyway?
Right.
Yeah.
The people that make those changes are not going to see those movies.
Right.
I'm actually, to be honest, I'm actually kind of liking the safe space because it gives us so much comedic material to make fun of. All these safe space, like we're out to fight the indigenous and all that stuff, like all these parodies.
You can like it, but at the same time, I think it's making people weak and fragile, which is Which is sad. So
yeah. Well,
we appreciate it, Spaz. Thanks for hopping in tonight, man, and I appreciate you. You know, you're always like your.
Of course. So. Before I leave, did I how much time do I have left? Like 5 minutes.
You got like 1 minute.
Okay, well, there was this funny T-shirt my brother's girlfriend made based on a meme I made. You were talking about Elon Musk. This has to do with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is so out of touch with reality because of how rich he is that he prioritizes entertainment over food and medicine. So when he goes to Cambodia and sees all these people who are dying, can I share my screen?
No, you cannot.
I can't?
No, I don't believe you can.
Am I allowed to, or you?
I do not see an opportunity for you to do that. No.
So I have this funny meme where it says, "Children in Cambodia are dying of boredom," and then the front of the T-shirt shows a bunch of like Cambodian children in the 1970s during the Khmer Rouge regime, and the back of it shows a bunch of like Asian kids like looking at a TV screen like, "Oh, this is boring." So the joke is that Elon Musk is so out of touch with reality because of how rich he is. He prioritizes entertainment over food and medicine because he's so out of touch with reality. I thought that'd be a funny thing to mention.
I love you, Spaz. I
Thank
love
you.
everything about
I'm
you.
going to put that on a T-shirt. Children in Cambodia are dying. On the back it says, "of boredom."
Sounds great, Spaz. Hey,
That's great.
thanks for popping in tonight, buddy. We'll see you
I'll tweet
later.
that to you.
Okay? All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you, but Love
Spaz going
Spaz.
crazy. Hey, we do have we got Liam in. Let's head over to Liam real quick.
I kind of want one of Spaz's shirts.
Those, as Hal says, those poor Boer kids.
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, aka Jesus came in resubbing tier 1 for 6 months. Says keep on keeping on. And Yearly Sin resubbed Prime for 2 months. Thank you so much, Yearly Sin. Greatly appreciate that. That is outstanding. Look at this. Zach Jacket also says, just imagine how many people will run to safe spaces when they realize that Elon Musk is African American. He was born in South America and does in fact maintain his citizenship. That's actually really funny because he actually truly is a true African American, which is amazing. Wow.
There you go.
Okay, let's go to Liam. Hello, Liam. What's up? Oh, you're muted there, buddy. Let's get you on.
There you go.
Hey Craig, how you doing? Brad,
doing, Liam?
chat.
Hey,
Hey.
yo.
So I've been to a safe space. You know,
Please.
I've been to one. You know,
Let's talk
I
about it,
didn't
man.
need to take shelter and be comforted, but I'm from small town Australia. You know, and we've got a local community college sort of set up thing called a TAFE, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't been there in a while, but I went down to pick up one of my millennial friends and his missus, right? And we're going into sort of the place, and just up from the sort of food court area
Mm-hmm.
is a small room that used to be a classroom, right? And I get up there, and in the beauty that is irony, right? We've got someone lecturing someone for having their guide dog down in the like food eating section, right? Like this is an open area with tables and everything. They're like, going, you can't have that animal here. This is like a dude in his like 60s that has like, you know, a dog to help him walk, right?
Right.
I walk 15 feet up the stair, like just up the stairs, like within line of sight to the door. And inside there, they've got this little room with fucking sorry for swearing if I'm not meant to, with
It's okay,
bean
it's okay.
bags, right? With bean bags. And they've got a puppy in there and like 4 kittens. And it smells like cat piss, guys. The whole room smells like cat piss. They got like 3 people in there, right? That look like they've walked straight out of fucking Hot Topic, you know. Like, now you got to keep in mind, I live in rural Australia. We don't even have Hot Topic, right? So I'm in there and I'm like, okay, cool. So this is different. Like and I'm like, you know, they're giving like a hard time to this old guy out there for having a dog. Can he come and sit up in here? And they're like, no. This is just for baby animals.
Oh,
for
God.
Like,
Was it a
like,
safe? Was it
Are
a
you
safe
for
space
real?
for the baby
was-
animals?
No, it was
Okay.
a safe space for the students.
Wow.
Students, right?
So what
And
happens
so-
once the animals get bigger? Do they just get rid of them? Or
I guess they were.
Yeah.
I guess they were people's pets or something. I don't know, but they had like a little like pen area and everything that was set up. Like, and I just thought like this is kind of weird. It was my first time seeing it in real life. I'd heard about it with the rise of social justice and everything.
Once again, was the pen for the animals or was the pen for the people in the safe space?
Well, you could argue, couldn't you? But no, it was for the animals. It was for the animals. It was like an old baby pen that had like this sort of like kind of like this mesh over the top of it that was safety pinned in, right? And they had the kittens in there and they were nursing the puppy when I came in. It was terrible, right? It was terrible. But I thought, what's up with this? Because the people that were in the room, right? The people who were in the room are just sitting there talking like nothing. And I'm like, hey, I'm meant to be meeting someone here. And the people I meet up with rip the shit out of these guys. Like we leave, and they're like, oh yeah, they're you know, weirdos, they're losers, they're so soft, all of this. I was like, what? Like, what's the deal? Like, you know, if they were nerds or whatever, I'm a nerd, right? Like, just go hang out in the library. Like, what is this? Like, how did this happen? Like,
The library
and
doesn't have beanbag chairs and puppies.
it doesn't have beanbag chairs and puppies, exactly. But I mean, I can't give you a massive hilarious story, but this has been my experience with it. Like,
Yeah.
this is all. I just thought, like, what the hell is going on here? How did this happen?
Mike
But
says, so it's like a daycare center.
it was like a daycare center. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it felt like a big daycare center for Hot Topic girls. Like,
That's fantastic. You did
Wow.
confirm. I had heard about the beanbag chairs, and so I'm glad I have an eyewitness to attest to that for sure.
yeah.
I
It
didn't
didn't have
hear
normal
about puppies.
chairs. It had row of desks. It had a little thing. It had like 3 chairs along the row of desk, and it just had a beanbag sitting circle with like a little short, like, sort of coffee stand table in the middle of the room. This was like, it used to be an education center, and it looked like someone's garage.
Yeah.
You know, Jake, there's a few things here I want to pull from the chat really fast. Jake says, just confirming, all these people were legal adults.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And-
They were in their early 20s, I would say, early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Colors of Gaming just says, if the idea of helping people with trauma, if the idea is to help people with trauma, it sounds incredibly patronizing. Who are you to judge Colors of Gaming? Who are you to judge at the end of the day, man?
We've got counselors' offices, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing. Like, that's
Right.
it's a thing here at the very least. We've got the
Oh,
counselor's
sure.
office. If you're traumatized, go to the counselor,
Mhm.
right?
You
Like,
know-
why have a designated space?
Man, well,
And
I'll
there's
tell you
no
what-
professional there overseeing anything, as far as I could see. It's just like, you know.
Mhm.
Well, Liam,
You know-
I appreciate that. Brad, you got anything else?
Well, you bring up a great point. I was thinking about counselors in high school. You know, back in the day, you'd go to the counselor. They'd give you feedback. They'd tell you whether or not you were doing terrible in school, or they'd tell you where you were, if you were on track for success in life. You know, and I imagine counselors today, they either have been put out of a job because of safe spaces, or they're coddling you, making, like, every time you go to the counselor, they're like, look, thanks for coming in. Let me punch your counselor card, and next time you get a free ice cream cone or something like that. Yeah, that's
It's-
great.
Well, Liam, I appreciate you popping in, man. And you know what I appreciate most? Your toothpick. I love it.
Thank you. That's because I've got a horrible hole in my tooth. Guys,
Hey.
if you would pop over, subscribe to my channel. I'm looking for new live streamers. It's just Conquest Comics. I'm looking for some old G1 blood. Get back in contact with you guys.
Hey.
Thanks for having me on, Craig.
The publicity is real. Love it, Liam. Have a good day, buddy. We'll see you later.
Yep. Godspeed.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
Love it. But way to bring it there. Love it.
Yeah.
Good, man. God, that's awesome. That is
So
awesome
they're
to
out
hear.
there. The safe spaces are actually out there in the world, not just in America, I guess, right? All the
No,
way
this is
over in Australia.
all over the world. Hey, Armored Armadillo resub Prime for 3 months, 6 total months. That's outstanding. And Skull King, thank you very much for the follow. I'll tell you what. Let's Ty. We're gonna come to you, and then we're gonna finish it up. That's gonna be our last call in for the night. Then we're gonna wrap it up. And I would like to give you some COVID stats before we go. I want to play a game with you before we go.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I think you're
Okay.
really gonna like these for sure.
Okay.
Travis says, I would like to say the correlation. Is 24-hour news and stress. It all started with a goddamn terror level chart with the color coding. Now the news cycle is set up to cause stress for views for content. That is why safe spaces are even a thing now. I don't think they are needed as much as you can make any space your own safe space. Travis, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate that. That's an interesting correlation. You remember
Yeah.
that chart coming out?
I forgot about it, and then the terror level chart. You were like at level color orange or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a tornado chart in a way.
If you really think about it, the idea of this all stems back. It 100% all stems back to social media and the rise of social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
The idea that the idea of cyberbullying and being told that you're fat or you're ugly or you're too skinny or you're too whatever online, and constantly being degraded by that, to where it makes people feel insecure, And I feel so fortunate that I have not, it's funny, Kristen and I were talking about this today. The idea that I have a third grader, and there are some third graders with phones,
Yeah.
and that won't it'll be the last thing my daughter gets
Yeah.
is a phone, and it'll be even longer before they have social media. Like,
Mhm.
I think what you're seeing is these parents who have been through the cycle, the first generation of social media, they're seeing the adverse effects that it's having on people, both mentally and physically, mostly mentally. And there's truly nothing positive that can be
Yeah.
that can be gained from social media. Oh, I got to keep up with my family. I got to keep up with my friends. Well, then call them.
Yeah.
It's a very simple process. There was a time before social media existed that you could actually still keep up with those things.
Yeah.
But
Well, there was a time where you had to face your own problems and deal with name calling face to face, or whether you heard about it behind your back. As you were talking, I realized the last 24 hours I have been berated on my Twitter account from like, I stopped responding to anybody because I realized every time I looked at their profile, I realized they were like a teenager. And I was like, these are just teenagers. They're all mad with something that I tweeted about. And the difference between me and them is, look, I've been through real life. You say whatever you want. I don't care. You're just a kid with a computer. If I actually saw you and said the things that you're saying to me, you would cry, and you would need one of these safe spaces. Like if reality came on their doorstep instead of behind, "Oh, I'm gonna get you, Mr. Man. I don't like what you said." You would not be able to handle it. And so, on their end, they think they're getting me. I don't like what you said on Twitter. And I'm
Right.
just like, I don't care. I'm on vacation, living my life. So it's just funny. It is a funny correlation between social media and just watching it progress, and that these kids are now out there in the world. It's
sure.
insane.
All right, let's finish up with Ty. I'm going to give you Ty. You got me. I see you queued up over there. He'll get going in just a minute. Ty, we're going to give you about 1 minute, okay, when we come to you. All right, let's head over to Ty. Ty, you there, buddy?
Hey,
All right, buddy. We got you for about 1 minute. What you got, buddy?
so I actually had to think about the question because yes and no. I mean, I haven't had to. I mean, in the regard of like, oh, I need to go hermit myself in some room because someone, but I guess I have in regards to like, I guess you call it more like circle of trust kind of things, or like, what you say here, we can talk about things kind of like this, but not talk about things that are sensitive and private, and we all have a social contract that will leave the group.
So
Does that-
Ty, you have been to a safe space before?
Well, I don't know if you call it, if you want to call it that, but kind of, yeah.
It sounds like you've been to a support group, or you've been to a place where you have friends.
Maybe. I don't know. I think some people might label that as a safe space. I don't know.
Maybe just a common ground where you can find some people that might have similar interests, or just an easier way to make friends. Maybe not so much a safe space, but just a commons area where people can find each other.
Look, I go to church with people who are trans, people who are non-binary, and we're able to talk about issues. And is that a safe space? I don't know, but like, that are very sensitive, and I think those are the good KFC spaces where like you can have that trust and I don't know. So
Were there any kittens and or small animals in the safe space?
Bean bags? Were there bean bags at this place?
when it was Zoom, so some people had their pets
Right.
Yeah.
on Zoom.
Well,
But-
Ty, I appreciate you popping in tonight, man. I think that's really outstanding.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it sounds like more than anything, it sounds like you just have friends. And I think that's really, really great. So good for you,
Aw.
Ty.
You always got friends here on the show too.
You got it. Ty, we'll catch you later. Okay, buddy?
Good night.
All
All
right.
right, see ya.
I love Ty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
thanks for calling in, everybody who chatted tonight.
For sure. Okay, well, we have a game before we go, but before
Okay.
we do go, I would love to once again we're going to open up the algorithm,
Yes.
and make sure we do a little dancing. And now is your time to head down to the comment section and help this show grow. You help the show grow by commenting down below and giving this episode a thumbs up. If you made it this far, please do. The comment. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to comment?
Leave a comment tonight about a time you met a celebrity, or and what that experience was like, or maybe you saw them at a distance and something happened, or maybe you had a weird dream about a celebrity.
I also would like for you to put it, if you'd like, also to put your experience of going to a safe space. So please,
Yeah, absolutely.
everybody dance.
I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Young people today, let me ask you this. How can we party? The earth is so big. Can we party? I'm Al Gore, the voice of your generation. Party.
All right, you ready to play a game?
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
So we're gonna play the COVID game,
Mhm.
and I listen. I understand that in India there are some major things happening right now in India. There's a spike in cases. There's a spike in deaths.
Mhm.
Not to sound insensitive, but we are not in India. We are in the United States. So we're going
Right.
to play the COVID game here. Okay. I'm going to give you a state. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You give me, and I'm going to give you the state, and it's going to be the number of we can do either cases or deaths,
Oh.
whichever one you'd like. And you have to tell me the date that we averaged. The 7-day average was this high. The last time the date was this high. Okay.
I
Was
have
at
to
this
give you
number.
a date.
Yes, a date on the calendar from last March, from March 17th
Oh,
all the way up
gosh.
through May 1st, 2020, and I will reveal those to you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's try this out.
Okay, let's start with our great state of Texas, and we'll start
Yeah.
with deaths. Deaths.
Oh,
Okay,
ew.
deaths. The 7-day average of deaths over Texas. Now, once again, I'd like to point out that every death is a bad death. Nobody likes to have deaths. Okay, but at the same time, people do die.
Nobody likes to have deaths.
Okay. Nobody likes to have deaths. I'll tell you this: our 7-day average of deaths over the last 7 days in the state of Texas has been 53. 53. When was the last time we averaged 53 deaths over a 7-day period in related to COVID?
March 2020?
March
No,
2020.
April 2020.
So now you're getting a little too generous. You're getting a little too generous. The correct answer is, you see, the average date 53 deaths. The average would go all the way back to June 7th.
Oh, wow.
June
Okay.
7th. So there
Okay,
you
I
go.
guess that makes more sense. The hard thing about this game is going to be trying to pinpoint. To me now, it just all seems like it all happened all at once. Like I forget about the welling up of like the fear, and then like oh more people are wearing masks now. Oh, now
Yes.
masks are mandated. I forget all that. It's hard. It just seems like it's all one big long blur. Okay.
Okay, now Texas is an open state. Let's go to the biggest state from a population standpoint in the union. Let's go to
Okay.
California, okay? Total number of cases, the 7-day average of cases right now in California is 1,900, roughly 1,900, 1,901.
Okay.
When was the last time the 7-day average was at 1,900 in California? Once again, a state that is still pretty much locked down. Which, by the way, Disneyland is open.
Yes, I heard
You
about
just
that.
can't yell. You just can't yell on those.
Oh,
things.
Space Mountain's so much fun.
By the way, chat, you guys play along too.
Yeah. Okay. So,
1,900 average cases per day.
June 2020.
Man, let's check out the board. 1,900 cases, 7-day average. By the way, lower on May 1st. Once again, by the way, credit to California. Look at the big spike. Started January. Guess what? Poof, dropped off. That's crazy.
It's a miracle.
1,900, the 7-day spike. You see, all the way back in June, it was already popping off. The first surge. Here we are, still going.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
I was off.
Nope. Still going. May 18th. May 18th.
Okay. Wow.
So, actually, no, there it is. May 20th. May 20th, 2020. So it has been over almost an entire year.
Yeah.
Almost an entire year. The big difference, though, is that people have been vaccinated. So,
yeah, you think
yes.
so? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, that's the difference is that the number then was going up. The vaccine wasn't there. Now the number is that the numbers have gone down, and there's been this vaccine that people have been taking. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
Let's move on to let's move on to New York. How's that sound? New York, okay?
It's Saturday Night Live.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go to New York. Let's go to deaths. Let's go to deaths. Okay. Deaths is something. Remember, early in the pandemic, there was a lot of deaths in New York.
No.
At one point,
I don't remember that.
At one point, they nearly averaged almost 1,000. Okay, early in the pandemic, super early in the pandemic. I'll tell you this right now. As of May 1st, 2021, the 7-day average was 53 in the entire state of New York. Total deaths, 53. Okay. When was the last time we saw it as low as 53? Now, New York's a little different. Gotta keep in mind, New York's a little different.
I'm gonna have to go with. You know what I'm gonna go with? Well, I'm gonna go with March.
See, March. Okay, so you're dead wrong here, Brad. Sorry for the bad pun.
Is it February? Was it before?
No. So here it is, the 53-day average. You see, this is the initial surge. Remember, New York hit it bad. Remember?
Right. Okay. And then
Yeah.
they,
And they popped off, and then it came all the way down. Then they over the summer during the warm weather, there was like nothing happening. Right? Like it's done. So the last time we saw 53.
Then Thanksgiving happened in the red zones.
Right. That's right. Thanksgiving happened. So December 1st, 2020, which was literally 6 months ago. To the day. 6 months ago to the day was the last time we saw. Well, once again, the numbers were moving up, and now moving down. So there you go. I just thought that'd be a fun little game to play. You know, once again, these are states that are still locked down, but seeing the number dramatically drop. While us here in Texas, everything's normal and everything's great. So, you know. Whatever.
Yeah, that's what's going on here. I mean, I'm on vacation now down here in Galveston. I'm not seeing very many masks. It's probably like, in fact, this is probably the least amount of masks I've seen in over a year, actually.
I'll say this. I think it's pretty, I would like to think that common sense will prevail in this statement, but common sense has also got me in trouble in the past. I would like to think that those who are high risk have received the vaccine. Those who have had COVID have had COVID. Right, and the cases that you're seeing right now, the reason why the death rate is so low, I mentioned this before, is that it's all the kids who are now getting COVID. Right, it's the not kids, I mean like the young adults, your 18 to 20, 18 to 30-year-old kids who are going out and they're getting infected, but the death rate is so low that it's extremely almost inconsequential compared to the high risk. So,
well, we gotta really start paying attention now, I think, to the VAERS reports and any kind of reactions to the vaccines as well, because we can't just be like, okay, the vaccine is out and that's great, I think that, there are people that are reacting to that as well. So that'll be interesting to chart those numbers. We'll see how close the media charts those numbers.
The biggest people talk about like, oh, you're anti-vax. I'm not anti-vax. I'm do whatever you feel is comfortable, right? Or I'm pro do whatever you feel is comfortable. I'm not anti-vax or anything. My biggest red flag with the vaccine, and keep in mind, pretty much everybody in my extended family has the vaccine so far, right? My biggest concern with the vaccine is that they got to get out of jail free card. When they said, look, there will be no ramifications if anybody dies from this thing, like that's scary to me. You're not held accountable. So, like I said, for me, it's you do whatever you feel is comfortable. It is what it is. So,
yeah, I would appreciate the same monitoring of numbers and reactions. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
But good game, Craig. Very
Good game.
very interesting game. I've never played a game where I've had to guess the amount of deaths.
People who have died. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, I'll tell you this. Once again, I will not be doing a stream tomorrow. I have a doctor's appointment I have to attend to. Hidden Gym Gamers, thank you so much for sending us the meme. Appreciate that, Hidden Gym Gamers.
Thanks.
Cool. And Dark Hands Some Strange, thank you so much for the follow. Now, we'll tell you this. Tomorrow at 11:30, I have a YouTube video going up. It's important. All right? That's it. So 11:30 going up.
11:30 a.m.
Yep.
Okay.
11:30 a.m. So I'm looking forward to that, and it's time to go back to my roots a little bit. So I'm excited for that. With that said, guys, have an excellent week. Remember, if you'd like to make this show happen more frequently, you can head to patreon.com/CraigSkits and support the show there. There's any dollar amount goes major far in supporting it. So, Brad, you got anything else before we get going?
That's it. Go sign up for Patreon, and I'll be back in my room next week.
There you go. Guys, have an excellent week. Remember, people are going to try to bring you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. We'll see you guys later for Weekdays with Craig and Brad, episode 103. Brad and Joy Galveston. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.